Hello, gorgeous girl. Welcome back to my channel. So today we have another installment of our fabulous Champagne Girl Talks. Today our special guest is Gina Devee. She's an author and a success coach and was honestly one of my first mentors about 10 years ago. We talk all about creating your epic life. We talk about what happens when you get stuck at a certain financial level and how to move past that, and the crucial distinction of masculine and feminine energy, and why you really gotta have both. So if you're new here, hello, I'm Tracy. I put out brand new fitness, wellness, and lifestyle videos every single week. So if you haven't already, do make sure to subscribe to my channel. And for everyone, please do click on that bell icon so that you always know whenever I have a brand new video that goes live. So grab yourself a glass of something. It can be tea, it can be water, or it can be champagne. And let's dive into our Champagne Girl Talk with Gina Devee.
Hello, oh my gosh, I cannot even tell you how freaking excited I am today because I am with Gina Devee, who is an author, a success coach, and she has made such a massive, massive difference in my life. So cheers and welcome to Champagne Girl Talks, Gina.
Tracy, cheers. It's so good to be here. So good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Cheers, darling. So here's a little background. Gina is, I've known Gina for over 10 years, I believe, at this point.
Craziness.
Like forever. And I met her in, I'd gone through a bad breakup, and I was, any chance I could get to travel, I would take. And so she had an opportunity to do a workshop called Transform Your Money Story. And I hopped on a plane to LA. I didn't know anyone, and I went to this 2-day event. And it really was amazing. And it really, really did transform my life. So thank you. I mean, thank you from the bottom of my heart, Gina. I felt like when I arrived in that room, I was such a broken bird. And truth be told, Gina was talking all about how you could create ease and freedom and love and abundance and, possibility and all this stuff. And I was like the New Yorker in the room, kind of like, yeah, right. So I didn't really believe a lot of what you were saying, but I was there and I was like, I like this woman. So can you just share a little bit? Because I think it's really important for people to know sort of like your background, where you came from and what you've created in your life.
Yes. Well, what a transformation you've created, Tracy. Like, I forgot about those days. It's really beautiful to be on this journey. So, I think every woman has a story, and mine started out, I was a broke, struggling psychotherapist, $75,000 in debt, living off of $24,000 a year. And I just wanted to help people, but I didn't know that when I became a psychotherapist, I became an entrepreneur. So I didn't have a business bone in my body, or so I thought. And I, like probably many watching today, always had a bigger vision for my life, always had bigger dreams. There was such a massive gap between what my actual current reality was and where I desired to be. But I just kept the faith and kept believing in the dreams. And really, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and was led step by step and then quantum leap by quantum leap to what now has been a big manifestation of so many of my dreams. And we're all always on the journey. I still have big dreams I haven't manifested yet. I'm still working on those.
You know what I think is so amazing? So Gina had an event for her book, The Audacity to Be Queen, which is fabulous. And everyone has to click on the link down below and get it, because it absolutely is amazing. I was telling Gina, I stayed up till almost 2 a.m. last night reading it. It's that good. And it's been amazing watching you as a student of yours, and then as our relationship has evolved, how you have also evolved and up-leveled, and things that I've seen that you've manifested into your life. It's been absolutely amazing. And when I was at your event here in Miami, I was like, it really struck me that you are the real deal. And that it was like, wow, like just watching you really, Gina is a person that really takes a stand for her life. And really, you say it so eloquently in the book, your epic life is waiting for you. And whatever that looks like for you, you get to decide what that looks like. That's why I didn't sleep last last night because I was like getting all fired up. So it's been amazing watching also your transformation and how you've been up leveling as well. And I think that it's really important to say that because a lot of my community, we already have really great lives. You know what I mean? We have great lives. So here's something, like after I had the baby, I did have a moment where I was like, now what? What do I do? Because I really felt like I had gotten to a place where like all the things that I had wanted in my life, it was like, yep, created that. I sort of had a way of working through that. And truth be told, I think I'm still working through that and figuring out that next level. But what would you say to someone that feels like, my life already is really great? What is that? How do you connect to what that next level is for yourself?
Sure. There's a couple of things. One, I call that the danger zone for women, for the women that have great lives, that are comfortable, that have manifested a whole bunch of their desires. And the reason why I call it the danger zone is like, when you heard me talking about when I was $75,000 in debt and didn't know what kind of business I wanted to start, and you were like, a hot mess after your breakup, I'm not worried about those people. Pain is such a motivator. Like, we're going to get ourselves out of pain. Yeah. So that's like, those people are the ones, like, I know they got this, because they're, very few people are just going to like commit to the pain chronically. But for those of us that have then gotten out of the pain and we've gone from good to great and even excellent by anyone's standards, it doesn't mean, we've been so conditioned to like be happy with what you have. Like, you should be grateful for what you have. And there's this suppression of women to keep us in what our new mediocrity is. Like, even though the life is great and looks great and we have gratitude for all the things, it doesn't mean that our destiny has been fulfilled. It doesn't mean that our epic contribution has taken place. And it doesn't mean that we have experienced all that we're meant to experience in life. And so for that, I would say that's really where the concept of queenhood comes in from my book, is like, what does being a queen look like to you? What does it mean to you? And so much of it is about being a benevolent queen. Now, I'm not saying that you have to become some big philanthropist. It's like, everyone does get to decide what queenhood looks like. But what I know for sure is queenhood is always about growth. And so if we are continuing to grow to the next levels with as much motivation and passion and determination as we were when we were struggling, we will experience a very fulfilled life. Otherwise, we will witness the unfulfilled life.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a good reminder. And I think that, what the experience was for me was, at first it was like, okay, enjoy this season of like, and all the hormones and all the things, right? And then it was like, wow. Then it was like a responsibility. And that felt like, to me, like more stepping into that queen energy of like, I have an even greater responsibility now as a mother, and of the difference that I want to make in the world. And so it really did shift from being about me and my business and my life to the impact, really on an even greater scale. So question for you. So, I love, you have so many great, there's so many great things in the book, but one of the things that I really love is how you give prompts of how to connect to your queen, which are so great. And so like, user friendly, and people can really click into that right away. Speaking for a friend, how do you know when it's truly your queen? Like, if this is new for them, right? How do they know that it's truly their queen that they're getting the message from, or ego, or, whatever other things that could come in?
Sure. On one level, it doesn't matter. Because, like, women are like so obsessed with getting it right and getting it perfect. Was that my queen speaking? Was that God, the universe, ego? Am I keeping up with the Kardashians? Is that why I want this up? And if you're really committed to developing your queenhood, you can check in and ask, like, does it feel good to be going for this specific desire? What's this really about? Most of the stuff that we're going for, it's not a new notion. most of it's been in us for a while, and we've had these little taps on the shoulder, and we've either had excuses or all the reasons why we couldn't, or then wasn't the right time. And so I think that when we're really going for our desires, they're just the completion of what's been inside of us for so long. So I don't think that, and especially, you know, knowing you, Tracy, and knowing who your audience would be, I don't think too many of us have to overthink, is this ego? If you do go and do something, go for something, purchase something, and in hindsight you realize it was ego, we'll get the lesson and move on. But it's like, you know, like it's like cooking, you know, like if you're like trying to learn how to poach an egg, the first one is probably going to be scrambled eggs in water. Like, fine, then get another egg and like learn how to do it. And I think women are so hard on themselves about having to get it right that we paralyze ourselves and we don't take forward action. You're only going to learn from doing. And if you do something that you don't want to repeat an experience of, great, then learn the lesson and don't do it the next time. But I would say err on the side of moving forward, err on the side of manifesting, err on the side of fulfilling your potential. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's really going to be that more than ego.
And I love that. Okay. I love that she said, and everyone hear this because it bears repeating because of good. You'll only learn from doing. That's, I mean, it's so true, like experiencing that. Now, one of my goals, I remember, I didn't plan on talking about this, but I remember when I first was working with you, I was like, one of my goals is I wanted to buy a Chanel purse. I wanted to buy like a big fancy purse.
Uh-huh.
Which is so funny now. And I remember that you were like, it's not about the purse, it's about who you'll become when you're holding it, you know? And it's so true. It's like, you know, I had no problem with that. I was like, what? I want a purse. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And like, that's just going to feel good, because the practical me would be like, oh, I wouldn't do that. We have outgrown that. Yay. That's a good thing. So, okay. One of the, I love, so one of the first times that I ever experienced the concept of the masculine and the feminine was in working with you. So Tracy 10 years ago was like, what do you mean? I'm totally feminine. I love makeup. I love hair. I love clothes. I'm like so feminine. But really, Gina's like laughing because I'm very masculine when it comes to just tell me what to do. I'm going to get it done. I'm very like task-oriented, dance background, you know, take action, like, let's do this, like, get it out of the way. So can you talk a little bit into this a bit for some women that might be confused by that concept, or maybe it's a newer concept for them? Because I'm sure you'll do a way better job than I will.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, our society is obsessed with the masculine, it's obsessed with masculine energy. And so there's masculine and feminine energy in both men and women. And, you know, the problem or the imbalance is that we have just been taught that we go masculine as a default and maybe sprinkle in a little feminine when there's enough time or money left over, when it's convenient. So masculine energy is all things logical, linear, practical, predictable, concrete, tangible. It's about like the provider, the protector energy. It's about initiating, doing, thinking. It's all like me focused. It's about the I. And ultimately, you know, when I say I and me focused, it's about the individual. And the masculine is ultimately about giving. And so when you think about, well, here, we'll take the champagne glass. Well, the champagne glass. So the concrete glass is the masculine. It's the tangible, it's the structured container. Now the feminine is all things intuitive, creative, insightful. It's about being versus doing, feeling versus thinking, spiritual, non-linear. It's about the passion and the play, seeing things not as they are, but as they could be. And ultimately, femininity is about receiving. And so in our society's addiction to knowing the outcome, that is why, like, people want spreadsheets and a certain amount of money in their bank and certain percentages, like, all lined up and happening in a way that's just so, where the wild feminine spiritual nature, like, God's like, I don't care how much money is in your savings account. Like, are you following divine guidance? Are you, you know, because like, if God, universe, spirit owns all things, it's like we bake people with a masculine orientation make other people, things, circumstances, jobs source, when source is source. Like, you know, people will create their identities out of where they work, or their security out of how much money is in the bank account. And that's not the way of the feminine. Because the way of the feminine can bend time and space. The way of the feminine is so surrendered because someone's like trying to hold on to a job that's going to make this amount of money, but the feminine is going to bring in opportunities and money coming in from different ways. It might not even be a job. Yeah. So really getting that, you know, all work and no play makes for a very boring queen. Also, like the way we women even diminish pleasure and play and fun because we're so damn serious and we got to get the work done and, you know, check all the check boxes off of the to-do list. So, really getting great at being feminine is what queenhood is about. Now, queenhood is not all feminine. She is actually the masterful blend of the masculine and the feminine. So like our other archetypes, like the goddess or the priestess, is much more like all feminine. But the queen, she does at a certain point take action, initiate, step into leadership, command, direct, speak, you know, directly. However, she first gets her guidance from source, because she's not going to belittle herself to like overworking and being like one of the other archetypes, like the slave girl archetype. Like queen knows that there's another possibility. She's wise and just waits for divine guidance to see what her next step is meant to be and what she's supposed to do. So I'll finish this concept up with anything that is not working in your life at the level that you would desire it to be. Love, money, life purpose, lifestyle, any of it comes down to your injured feminine instinct. Your inability to receive what it is you desire. Receive attention, receive fame, receive money, receive love, receive a healthy, fit body. Whatever is not happening at the level that you ultimately desire comes down to your inability to receive. And that's what queenhood helps you get great at, is receiving.
So good. And it's so what I love is that there are going to be areas of our lives where, oh, we have more mastery. You know what I mean? Like whether it be like, okay, relationship, great, that's great. You know, health and wellness, okay, that's great. And then there could be other areas where it's like, all right, that's where we want to invite in that concept of queen.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Or upping the levels in, you know, you can like have a certain level of mastery with your business, your body, your love, but there's always the next levels for all of it. So it's just really what your priorities are and what your desires are. Oh, I was going to finish the analogy. So the masculine is the concrete glass container that in this case is holding the champagne. Usually it's holding water. But and the champagne is the fluid. It is the, you know, it's the place of beauty. It's you know, it creates a little buzz. And so the job of the masculine is to be in service to the feminine. Without the container holding the fluid, then the champagne would spill all over the place and it wouldn't do its job. So that's something just to keep in mind, that the masculine is supposed to be in service to the feminine, not dominate it.
Yeah, I love that. Receiving, such a concept, right? I mean, I'll like outing myself. When I first met my husband, he was so different than any other man that I had come into contact with. It was like, ugh! But I knew it was like, okay, this is what I'm wanting. This is, you know, this is the kind of man that I want to be with. And it was like, I would literally have to sit there at dinner and be like, it's safe for me to receive. Because it was like, why isn't there drama? Why isn't there all this stuff? Why is he like just so like grounded? And, you know, so that was like a really tangible and vulnerable, you know, exercise for me in learning that. And it was like one of the most beautiful lessons ever, you know, to learn that.
Absolutely. And then it becomes so natural. You're like, why were we as women trying to control and initiate and assert and dominate and the whole thing?
I love that. And that raises such a good point, because, you know, I want everyone hearing this. It's like, once you've had that transformation, once you've had that shift and you've really, really owned it, there really is no going back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the contrast is going to feel so freaking uncomfortable that like you will not want to go back where you were, you know, like for instance, in my dieting days, like counting calories, starving myself, eating as little as possible, looking in the mirror and hating myself. It's like, I would never, ever go back there because there is a certain level of mastery and queenhood for me in that. I'm so grounded in that. There's no drama in it at all. Not to say that there aren't other areas, because as you said, there's always places, there's always, you know, there's always learning. We're always up leveling, that's the beauty of all of this. Okay, let's talk about what's happening right now. So with all the stress, with all the fear, with all the anxiety that's going on in the air right now, and you know, there's the reality of it, and you know, we can control how much we take in and how much we don't, and you know, what we're really available for. I said to my husband the other day, I was like, you know, I got to tell you, you know, because he listens to the news all the time and he knows, like, we have an agreement, not when I'm there, like, please, like right now, I just can't take it. And I said to him, I said, you know, it feels like it's a full-time job for me right now, just trying to keep my vibration in the place that I want it to be. You know, so again, I'm not making light of this situation. I'm not saying that real things aren't happening, that lives aren't being lost. And we always get to choose how we're showing up in the world and what we choose to focus on. But with self-care options that I would normally do, like getting a massage, going to the beach, all that's kind of out the window right now. So tell me, you got any suggestions of like, how can we really use this time to really cultivate our queenhood?
Yes. So the first thing that I had to realize, because when it was first coming in, it was like larger than life, and it started to feel like the sky was falling. And I was like what is happening to planet Earth? Like the concept that the world is self-quarantine, like we're starting to, in some ways, a little used to at least the concept right now, but it was so suffocating. And I had to immediately go to spiritual principle. And I had to remember, okay, God is bigger than the coronavirus. And so anytime we have a fear-based thought that whatever it is that starts to get larger than life, you have to bring light that is bigger than the darkness, and it will then engulf the darkness and you will be in the light. So when I remembered that, I was just using God because that's what it is for me, but everyone can use what they need to, that God is bigger than the coronavirus. It's like, okay. And then as a queens follow divine assignments. And I had to really take a look at what is my divine assignment in this moment. You know, initially I, you know, waited 20 years to publish my first book and had a whole global, might I add, book tour scheduled. And my book came out in March of 2020. So, you know, I had to really take a look at I was in shock that I'm like canceling my entire book tour, at least postponing it. And I had the instinct to start to feel sad about it. Like it felt like sadness coming at me, like it was like this outside entity. And then in terms of queenhood, the whole concept of the book is basically it's happening for you, not to you. So how can I be a queen knowing that everything, it doesn't say except a global pandemic, everything is happening for us, not to us. So what is the opportunity here? And I just kept asking the better questions. Okay, so what's the pivot? You know, one of the exercises in the book, I write, I'm thrilled this is happening because, and of course, like you were saying, Tracy, it's not that we're naive to what someone else's experience is, but for us to take responsibility about what is our experience. I'm thrilled this is happening because I'm thrilled my book tour is getting canceled because, okay, I get to be connected with people like Tracy and other people who've got podcasts and do a virtual book tour that I didn't have planned and maybe reach more people. I'm thrilled this is happening because, well, everyone's actually at home right now. I don't just want people to buy the book. I want them to actually read it. So people are reading more than ever. And so part of what we queens, we need to realize, as devastating as what's going on the globe in many cases, and as many lives are being lost, this happens every day, all day, all over the world, and even bigger numbers. More children die of lack of food and nutrition than what's going on with coronavirus. And, we haven't really most of us haven't been in tune with that. Wars going on in countries that are traumatizing and devastating and taking lives, this stuff goes on every day. And we're all not necessarily doing our part or getting involved with that. And so trauma happens on a daily basis in humanity. And you need to evaluate for yourself, what's your role? Are you being spiritual led? Is it your divine assignment to make a financial contribution, to donate time, to bring awareness, to use your platform for something? And if it is, then do so. And if it's not, move on with whatever your divine assignment is. And so I got grounded, to answer your question, I got grounded in what my divine assignment is and what the opportunities are of the moment. I'm at home and I'm healthy, and so is my husband. And so I'm using my platform to bring positive programming into the world. I'm doing a number of things that I didn't have scheduled. I offered a free program. People can get on it at divineliving.com/audacity. It's a companion course to the book. I'm doing free Instagram lives every day. So I'm doing certain things that I've been divinely guided to do. And then so I feel connected to my purpose. So I think that's part of the self-care, actually, is not taking on other people's stuff and following mine. And then the last piece is, right, it's I think we're all gonna pay our massage therapists quadruple that are people that do our nails, hair, all of it. And when we have the opportunity to, but right now I'm not working as much as I normally do. My energy, I think almost similar to grief, it's kind of coming in waves. Yes. And I'm not trying to overly pump myself up or feel differently. I have the constitution of an ox. I can eat, drink, anything. I could sleep like it's nobody's business. That is just I've been waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and staying up. That doesn't happen. And so I'm just noticing, just kind of and it doesn't happen every day, but it certainly happened more than once or twice. And so I'm riding the waves. And when I want to take a nap, I take a nap. And when I want to just go cook at 3 o'clock in the middle of the day, I am. When I want to go take a walk and just hang out with my dogs, I do. And so I'm finding that different forms of self-care, I'm just listening to my body and I'm focused on what I can do versus what I can't.
Yeah. Such a good reminder. So good. Okay, one other subject here that I definitely want to get into. Let's talk about some money.
Okay.
I like talking about this. So that chapter, I have so many notes in there. I thought it's just so good. So one of the things that I just love about you is that you really take a stand for the and. You take a stand for owning your desires, all of it. Because obviously I know, as a queen, you're you have a strong spiritual connection, and girlfriend loves her a shoe and a bag and all the things, and as you should. And I love that about you, just that, you have this unapologetic nature. You really, know how to live, which I just love that about you. So let's talk about, and when women feel stuck, when women feel years ago, one of the things that changed my life was I decided in my early 20s, I was I will never, ever use the words, I can't afford it, ever. And I don't, unless I'm actually saying this to someone. It's always how can I afford it if it's something that I want? Or if it's really just not, then it's not, that I really make myself say it's not a priority for me right now, period.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to women? Do you have any ninja thoughts, concepts, queen gems?
I'm taking a stand for the end.
Yeah. Or when people get into that, oh, it's not possible for me because, and thinking that their finances are really at a set level because of their job, their partner, what they do in their business. What would you say to that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have just been conditioned. Do you want salad or fries?
No.
Don't we both? Like, why is it salad or fries? Like, we want both. Like, why don't we just, like, but we're so conditioned that there's an option and you can have one or the other, but you can't have both. Like, I want both. And so I think, first of all, it's just opening up the concept that we can take a stand for the and. And part of the reason why we get stuck, we're so stuck in indecision because it's unnatural to our wiring as women that we have to choose one or the other. The masculine is about or, the feminine is about and. And so we're like, should I buy the shoes or sign up for that yoga retreat? You know, should I do this or that? And so many times when I've just presented why don't you just do both? You see this sigh of relief, and then they go into the masculine, well, I can't afford both, you know? And it's like, but so there isn't, when you have a spiritual connection, you realize the universe owns all of it. God owns all of it, and there's infinite abundance. So nobody can convince me that they don't have access to infinite abundance because God doesn't play favorites. So in any conversation, someone is always selling someone, and you cannot sell me on your lack mentality. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, if you choose to believe that the money isn't there for you and that it can't come, that is your right. You have free will, but you are not going to sell me in agreement of that, because I will forever be on a very passionate and relentless pursuit of how can it happen and where can it come from and what is actually meant for you. And what I've found is that there's so much more power from passion. And when you know that you're getting, I mean, the salad and fries is a little ridiculous, but when you know that you can, like, whatever, go to grad school and have the bag, like, or you can, like, take the trip when we can do that again and buy the house, you know, like, everything, like you just bring your fullness to it rather than, like, energetically being told you can only have part of what you want. Because everyone's a little bit like, okay, I'll be grateful that I can get it in the house, but kind of still sad that you're not going to wherever you wanted to go on that trip. So when you bring your full passion and your full openness, that's when the universe has the chance to dazzle you. But if you're just so convinced, you're like, no, it can't happen. The universe is not going to override your free will.
I love that. I'm taking notes here. I love that you just said the universe has a chance to dazzle you. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Queenhood, baby.
Yes, honey, I love it. Oh, this is so good. I feel like I can talk to you forever. I have so many questions and comments, but, you know, truly, Gina, I really wanted to, you know, have you here because, number one, your book is fabulous. So like I said, everybody get her book, The Audacity to Be Queen. And, you know, you really were, yes, it's so pretty too. You really were someone that really helped me to change my life. I mean, honestly, I've shared the story many, many times. I remember when, you know, I went to that one weekend and then I went to, I don't know, something else. And you were speaking in New York and there was an opportunity to work with you. And I did not, you know, and I want everyone to hear this, like, this was real, y'all. Like, I did not have the money to sign up for a program. I was like, am I crazy? Like, I did not come here for that. I came because I was like, oh, I like Gina, like, whatever. And I'm so glad that I did. And I remember, like, when I was signing the contract, like, my hands shaking a little bit, you know, and it was the best thing ever because I honestly feel like from that moment on, I never had fear of investing in myself, of banking on myself, of knowing that it always works out. Always. And, you know, you really helped me to take a stand for myself and for the and. So I will forever be grateful for you. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's so beautiful to hear. And it always works out when you have an attitude like Tracy's. You know, Tracy had open-mindedness, a positive attitude, and took the action and took the risks. You know, I mean, it is a risk at the beginning, but no successful person gets where they've gotten without those risks. Like, so you're just such a beautiful role model, Tracy, of what transformation really does look like, feel like, and, you know, it's all worth it when a woman says yes to herself.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Gina. Thank you all for being here for our Champagne Girl Talk.
Yes.
Yes. All right, Gina Devee, you are the best. I adore you. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this Champagne Girl Talk. I love connecting with these amazing women and doing these interviews, and I do these videos for you. So I'd love to know, what do you want to see next? Who would you like me to have a conversation with? And just some feedback on this new series. So definitely leave me a comment down below. You are awesome, you are amazing, and you are a champagne girl. So I will see you next time. Bye.